Okay, next one. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I tell you.
Yeah, you tell me what you think that one is.
True.
Very
True.
true. I'm not going to waste your time and I'm not going to waste my time. Are you ready?
Ready.
Very ready, very ready.
So today we're going to do something a little different, and maybe our listeners will play along. We've been talking a lot about generational differences and how it impacts different areas of our life. And so today we thought that we would look at things that people say about each of our generations, things we believe or things that describe us, and see what we agree with and what we don't agree with. And we're going to do this in a true, false statement round. We'll look at the boomers, which is mom and Tia Laura. Tia Laura technically is right in between boomers and Xers. Consider Jen Jones. But to simplify, we're going to put you in the boomers.
Okay,
And
okay.
then and then I'm Gen X. And so we're going to cover a couple different topics and things that have been said in those areas. And we'll see what we think is true, what's not. And it could be that we used to think that these things, right? And then over time, with life experience, changes in cultural and social norms, they changed for us. And so there might be some opportunity to say, I used to think this, but now I don't because of this. So that is the plan for today. Sound good?
Very good.
Perfect.
All right. So we're going to start with mental health. And it's a very hot topic because the current generation, the younger generation, is very into self-care and well-being. So I think hopefully it's as helpful for them to understand how things have progressed over time in terms of how people see mental health. So I'm going to start with the boomer generation. And so, Mom and Tia Lara, you're going to show me true or false to these statements.
Okay.
The first one is asking for help is a weakness. Ah, true. True.
Well,
This is true.
in my time, you
Okay.
kind of had to take things. And
Mm,
Ah,
before you ask for help, you really had to have taken a lot. That
mm.
was the belief in my time.
Has
oh,
that
okay.
has that changed for you?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Because it makes no sense that you are, taking things that are not good for you and not good maybe for others. And it's a lot better to request, to ask for help when you feel like it, when you think you need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you think if someone isn't feeling great, they should just get out more? True or false? False. Yeah. Okay, you're on the same page. The last one, therapy is for crazy people. Don't offend me on this one. And
Before I'm surprised from your mama's answer
I know.
because
I know, because in my time,
yes,
number one, you didn't hear often, I went to see the psychologist or the counselor.
yeah.
And when you would hear it, would say, well, what is the problem?
Mhm.
So in a way, you thought it was a terrible, mental situation, not exactly crazy, but you're not the general people that is, with ups and downs, but that's it. No, that's not okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Normal versus Abby normal. And if people know where Abby normal comes from, they should put it in the comments. At Lauda, you said false. Do you think you always felt that way? That therapy?
Yes,
Okay.
I definitely have. Hmm.
Okay. All right, now my turn. Who's going to ask me?
Okay, it's me. You should stuff your feelings because you don't want to open a can of worms.
Yes. And I would say true like mom. I think historically, I think that's how I was raised. Obviously,
Okay.
I'm in a profession now where that's quite opposite, and I think I've learned over time that that's not effective. But I would say that a good portion until my young adulthood, that's how I felt.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know. Therapy is only for really troubled people.
Yes. I would say also true when I was
Okay.
younger, because in our generation, we had movies like Prozac Nation, which is based on a book, and Girl Interrupted. And so they still showed a lot of institutionalization. And I
Mm,
think so it really made it seem like you only got that help if you were in extreme situations. Yeah.
okay.
Not that way now, of course.
Exactly.
Good.
Have changed, right?
Very
Because
good.
nowadays, even in the schools, for young people, they
Hmm.
have their
A
own
psychologist. Oh, yes.
psychologists.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I do feel like the pandemic equalized that for a lot of people who are still thinking that way, because I think for the first time, at least in recent time, I'm sure there have been episodes of this in history. Everyone was in the same place. Everyone was enclosed in their homes for a period of time, and they had to practice isolation and things like that. And I think people became very attuned to mental health and what isolation does, what loneliness does. And I think people realize that it really, mental health is universal. It's for everybody, right? And it's important to address. Yeah.
Correct.
So now we're going to move on to women in beauty, just because we're women. And we did
Ah,
have a longer conversation about this recently, so some of this might sound familiar, but here we go.
mhm.
So,
Okay.
for the boomers, you should buy products that are effective even if they're pricey.
Hmm.
Loud, what's quick? False.
Because I think the word there was pricey.
Uh-huh.
Because in my youth, you would get things, and later on, even from our mom, your grandma, we learned they were simple creams that really worked.
Hmm.
Now, of course, you had the higher product that sometimes may have something special, but in reality, or as the usual thing was that you would get, like we said one time, we had the cream of Olay Pons, the concha nácar. I think that was for taking away, how do you call them when,
Hmm.
yeah, and they worked. So I was with the belief it doesn't have to be pricey, but maybe Tia Laura says they have to be good.
Well, my generation was the other way around. I think when we were making the change, I would say,
Hmm.
when I was young, I started, as using these products. Once you can go to a friend's house and they have the best quality creams there. And they say, this is so good for you and this for that. So then the price wasn't a problem. If it is good, and of course marketing, right? Because there is a lot of marketing saying this product is the best.
Hmm.
But no, definitely we wanted to get the best product.
Okay, okay. So you might be right. It might be that where you're in between the two generations,
Hmm.
really, that shifted.
Exactly.
How about I tend to use the same products throughout the years rather than try new trends. Ah, so Aunt Lauda's into trends.
I'm into trends.
She'll try whatever she thinks is
Anything.
good.
Anything. If they tell me this is
Natural.
whatever.
That seems to
I
me
guess
like a lot of
nowadays I'm a little
experiment.
more careful. But
Uh-huh.
yes, before anything, especially the mask, just put avocado in your face or put these new things. I'm telling
Mud.
you.
You would put mud.
Mud. I
But
love mud. I love mud.
And it works.
well, sometimes in experimenting, you might discover something that really works.
Exactly.
But you can also discover something that's not great. So I don't know. Risk taker. Risk taker. All right. Now me.
Now
Okay,
is Joanna. Okay. I want value for my money.
Very true. I'm very cheap. But I want it to work.
I want something that enhances my natural beauty, not that makes me look artificial.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And I know I talked about this in the longer form video on beauty, but I don't want to not recognize who I am when I put stuff on.
Exactly. And that's what is happening now. You change
Yes.
everything, or you want to look, 40 years old when you're 80. And, well, you're going to turn into someone else because that's not you.
Well, like I said, too, crow's feet and what they call smile lines or laugh lines are signs of a good life lived, right? When you smile
Yes.
and you laugh and things like that.
Yeah, into a certain point, because then there is another things that really kills your skin, damage your skin, like cigarettes, for instance, and smoking people,
Uh-huh.
right? So if you allow to, if you like smoking and you don't want to quit, whatever, not even for the health issue, but, just because you have that habit, well, your skin is not going to be good.
That's true. That's true. Agree.
Very.
Agree. True. Okay.
So now we're going to go into just some core values.
Okay.
And we'll start with you two. So, I'm young at heart. Oh, good. On the same page.
Very important. They tell you age is a number. And in reality, it's true. Some mornings you wake up feeling good, thank God, and with a certain energy, whatnot, and then you look at the mirror, oh, okay, but you feel good. So that's the main thing. Young at heart.
Yeah. And I think we saw it from our mom and our aunties, that all the time they had this attitude.
Yeah. So small story, Aunt Nina, who was probably my favorite. But she was hilarious because she was like barely 5 feet tall.
Yes.
But forever, as long as we ever got a chance to visit her, she's always smoking and drinking her tequila. And she was the feistiest person in the bunch, fighting with my uncles over political things and whatnot. And so, yeah, she was like that till the end.
Very
Till the
feisty.
end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how about I'm interested in learning new things?
Oh,
Oh, good.
always open.
Do you think that's how you always were?
Me, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. We were welcome to, learn new
Explore.
things. And that changes you because, especially in my time that we were still, born in the 40s, 50s, early 60s, there were still some, guidelines, social, rules, if you will, that later on we learned, that is exaggerated or that is not even true. So when you're open to new things and new ideas and new situations, you learn.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Okay, this one. I've been more focused on my bucket list items, like things I want to do before I die.
I've been more focused lately. Yes.
You who just recently took a really big adventure trip in Europe on your own, traveling that far alone, I assume that was part of that reflection of what you want to do.
Totally. Totally. I always wanted to make this trip. Uh, you know, with someone probably, but I did it for the first time by my own with, with that willing to enjoy it because it was part of my dreams. So it didn't stop me, that I did go by myself at the beginning. So I enjoy it from number one for day number one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And do
it's
you think,
nice.
oh yeah, for sure. And we shared a lot of those videos. It was very well planned out. I'm curious if part of that is because you see time is different now.
Totally. Yes. To me, of course, because having the background of my illness, having cancer, which I never thought that I was going to die from cancer, to be honest with you. But, and then life started giving you certain circumstances. And then I saw that way from my mama, that time goes by. And then, of course, you look at yourself and then it's not that you become old, but you know that you're more halfway over there than over here, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's when you start, caring about important things and about yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
before you.
mom, and that makes sense. That makes complete sense. Mom, for you, you say no. So I'm curious, yeah, what that's about.
Well, I haven't really thought what I'm thinking of a bucket list probably is like when you put, I want to do this, I want to, climb a mountain. No, not really. I would love to go back to Paris. I would love to go back to San Francisco.
That's
Um,
bucket list.
I would love to go back to Mazatlan, my hometown, but right now it's really, really not good in safety, which is a pity. Although we have our family there, but it's not like I have a list. I have to, I would like that. Recently, we went to this lovely place in Joanna put it, Bucky's in Goodyear. I would have never thought, but I would have put it on a list because it was really an experience. But like a list, I don't have a list.
Huh.
And I'm a lot closer to that than
No,
the allowed
we
out.
never know. We do not know because we're not God, and only He knows the time when it's
Exactly.
this time
True,
correct.
true. And I also think part of that is, I mean, to me, it sounds more like a wish list for you. And like you said, they don't have to be big items, right? It's sort
No.
of this like sense of it would be great if I could do. I wonder
Exactly.
too if it's because you feel like your life is fulfilled as it is, and what you do day to day fulfills you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's okay to think too, like there's still some things I want to do before,
Exactly.
you
I
know.
have the blessing, good fortune and blessing, of course, to have you, to have my kids relatively close. And that to me feels a lot of my life, really. So,
Hmm.
yeah, if I would start thinking, what would I like to do in the world? Maybe, but right now, there is no list per se.
All right, the next one is loosely related to this, but this is more about yourself. And so I am focused on reaching my full potential, advancing my spirituality, and gaining wisdom. True or false? True. And I wonder for both of you if that is how you've approached life forever, or if there was a moment where something flipped for you and you said, I need to really invest in developing myself and striving for full potential. How about you, Laura?
Yes, I wasn't, there was a point that changed me. I wasn't like that before. Honestly, I lived the day as it came and I was focused on the moment. And I mean, I didn't, really care much, unfortunately, about my spiritual or gaining more wisdom. I started gaining wisdom when I started living with my mom, and so close, I would say, because of course she was around in my life all the time. But when we lived together for that many years, 15 years, and then of course, spiritual, I would say that we have always been because of the type of family we're coming from. But yeah, I think starting from when I became 50, 50 years old, I started to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I think with
change.
me about the same in my
Mhm.
50s because through the years I was married, I didn't think much, of that. It was like the Laura says, kind of day to day and doing the best you can and whatnot in difficult days or whatnot. But in my 50s, once we got a divorce, I began to think more of me and of that, gaining wisdom and learning um have a purpose like that to learn more in new things. Yeah,
That
like
makes,
a new beginning, you can say.
yeah. Yeah. Well, when you are able to shift your focus on yourself, obviously you still had your kids and stuff, but when you're no longer part of a pair where we've talked about that too, it's challenging to manage the dynamics in a marriage or a couple, right? That makes sense. It gave you the ability to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last one for you too. I want to leave something of value behind. Some people call it a legacy.
Ah, yes.
True.
To remember me as a nice person. Because I don't have anything else. No, just
A
kidding.
lively person, a person that has, initiative. You would want to do something and you did it, just fighting your illness. You did everything you could do and more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank
And I really think, we don't think of this, many of us don't think of this actively, but how many lives you touch that you don't even know, right? Even in random interactions where you don't know the person, but you might do something kind or give them time, and that makes a difference. So legacy doesn't have to be something big, right? It could just be the things that you're talking about, how people will remember you, right? And the lives that you
you.
touched without even knowing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Because many
Mm,
times they tell you it's not what you say, it's what you do. And they
Mm-hmm.
see your actions, and maybe if people get, inspiration and strength from that.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving a legacy of a strong faith is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I see some cases of terrible things, illness, losing everything you had materially, etc. And people, start all over again. And that's their faith. It's just amazing. All I heard in the news and things when last year, the horrible Eaton fire,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was just, shaken by how wonderful these people who lost everything,
yeah.
including
Mm-hmm.
memories of
Yes.
their pictures and things and whatnot, and they would talk to
Yes.
you with this positive attitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what a courage.
Yeah.
All right, my turn.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yes, for sure.
Very
And
nice.
that's a
Okay.
big Gen X thing. During our time, we had a lot of big things
Mm,
happen that I think, and divorce, I mean, as simple as divorce, more as common as divorce, the number started to flip tremendously in that period of time where it became more the norm. And so I think people waiting for that to happen to them, right, on some scale, that's a very, I think, small version of some of the big unexpected things that we experienced. And so it just became like, plan for the worst so that you're prepared as much as you can be.
what a generation. I wanted to belong on that one. Okay, the next one. Rely on yourself because you cannot depend on anyone else.
Yeah. I would say very much true through most of my life anyways, because again, I think it goes back to circumstances, what was going on around us, and then even in the very immediate family, I think just being very independent and always making sure I planned for myself, right? And I've talked about older, a lot of it was about giving back to family, but I think I had to invest a lot in just being independent. And this generation was very much, we were the latchkey kids. So it was very much like usually two parents working. You're kind of on your own most of the time. So I think it just built in a sense of like, take care of yourself kind of thing.
Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally true. Okay, our generation is cynical.
Yep. Very true. And I would say that's true now in many ways. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next one. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I tell you.
Yeah, you tell me what you think that one is.
True.
Very
True.
true. I'm not going to waste your time and I'm not going to waste my time. You ask me a
Excellent.
question, I'm going to give you the truth. I'm not going to add a lot of extras to it.
Go to the point.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Now that you said that this generation, your generation is cynical, reminds me a
Cynical.
little bit of the 60s when,
Oh,
there was so much, that was actually a revolution, as you have read, because you didn't live it. But I think people, especially the young people, were fed up with what they call the establishment, government, that they were liars. They said one thing, they acted another. They were hypocrites. Social rules that everybody broke, but you had to, this is the way. And they said that's it. That's it. We want honesty. We don't want to waste our times in wars that don't bring us anywhere.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, well, we're going back to that.
Well, and I think that's exactly what I was going to say is I think we're seeing a lot of that again in terms of at least we could speak to in the US and I'm sure it's in other countries as well, especially amidst war, right? There's a big divide, political divide, and a bigger division socioeconomically happening. And I think it's really making folks have those trust issues again, right? And really, who do we trust? And people say they're going to do things, and things keep getting worse. And I think
yeah.
some of these things are
And,
cyclical, right?
and
Yeah,
social
probably.
media and social media nowadays also help to do that,
Oh,
right?
they
Yeah,
can confuse you so much.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And it's constant because it's always available. And I think that maybe adds a different layer now to the present, right? Because you're bombarded with messaging. And so
Correct.
it's really important to step back and practice self-care and not get too sucked into things that are divisive like that if you can, right? Because that can be
Exactly.
too much. Yeah.
Too
Completely.
much.
And sometimes doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
I know families that practically don't speak to one another because you are in different political parties, and
Yes.
and we're family after all. You have the right to
Yeah.
think and choose whoever you want to. We should be objective, not subjective, but it's not worth it to have terrible fights because of that.
Well, like we said, in some of the questions that I asked earlier, time is not guaranteed. Number one, as Aunt Lauda said, and it makes it highly valuable. And how do you want to spend that time? What are the things that matter to you, and how do you want to maximize
Exactly.
that with the time you have? Now, I know there are situations where there's trauma, there's abuse, and you have to cut some people off or really limit your contacts with certain people. And I respect people making their own choices for their own well-being. But when that's not the case and it's this reacting to the outside noise, right? I hope people can find a middle ground to still have the things they value, the people they love, right, in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of stress, out there. Your cortisol is up to the level, because you're always reading and people, you hook to these people and you follow this, and so I think we have to slow down a little bit.
So were there any surprises for you as you reflected on some of the statements, ways you've grown or changed?
No,
Some,
yes.
some for me because
Some.
coming from the generation, we boomers were coming from the 40s, I guess, our parents and grandparents, the 20s and 30s, it was a completely different time. Although in general, it's the same thing. Economic problems, wars, things like that. But the social rules were more strict. So there were things that with time, one would realize and face and say, well, this is not exactly as strict as all of that.
Yeah.
So there was a big change.
It's good. Yeah, that's good that we changed that way. Not, I would say all the extremes are bad, right? Because then you go all the way to the opposite. And I think should be a balance to
Exactly.
it.
That's the key word, balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like you both have said, I think through our own life experiences and witnessing changes in the world, it also influences and shapes things that we were brought up as values or concepts, right? And that just shows your flexibility and willingness to absorb and observe, I think, how the world changes, right? And rather than someone who stays rigid in the old ways just because
Exactly.
or,
Exactly. One
Stubborn.
person that was ahead of her time was your grandma's mother, Mama Gija. She was ahead of her time. She was what you would call, well, I don't know exactly the name you would call her, but she was always thinking that I think she had the chance to see, yes, before she passed away, the man gets to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
So she would read,
60.
she passed away and she wanted, I don't know why, to visit New York. She was fascinated by New York.
No.
But she
No.
was ahead of her time. She was, more open to things
Mhm.
Yeah.
than to a strict. And that was the key thing, I think,
Mhm.
that it wasn't only that there were strict rules, but the people that insisted on the rules didn't really follow them. So there was some kind of
Up to
hypocrisy there.
today.
And exactly. So that's when people began to say, wait a minute, you're talking, and what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how great that, and I know not everyone gets that, but I think it's people in our circles that give us the space to challenge some of the rigid rules, right? And help us dream, I think, even of something different or better, that has a lot to do, I think, with reshaping what we think has
Yes.
to be the norm. Yeah. Well, that was
Exactly.
interesting. And I'd be curious if people played along, what stood out for them, if they learned something about themselves, thinking about the statements that have coded their generation, if they feel they have transformed over time. Maybe there were things they believed, and then later in life they rethought that it's not exactly like that. We would definitely welcome comments. So if you have anything you want to speak on after this discussion, please put it in the comments. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe because these are the kinds of things that we like talking about. And if you want to hear a specific topic, also throw those in the comments. But we will do quick introductions. We'll start with my mom,
Ana,
my tia.
Laura.
I'm Joanna, and we want to remind you whether it's good, bad, or funny,
leave it
live it
Live it
up.
up.